There are some truths that no one sits you down and explains. You only meet them in the middle of living. When a relationship shifts, when a quiet room teaches you more than advice ever did, when growing up feels less like arrival and more like carrying things you did not expect. One evening, with warm light on the desk and a notebook open in front of him, Long began writing down the lessons nobody had warned him about. And somehow, the room inside him became gentler. Long used to think adulthood would become clearer with time. Not easy, but clearer. He imagined that as he grew older, life would slowly make more sense. People would become easier to understand. Decisions would become simpler. The right path would feel more obvious. The emotional confusion of youth would settle into something steadier. Instead, he found something else. Life did not necessarily become simpler. It became deeper, more layered, more emotionally expensive in quiet ways. Some of the hardest things were not dramatic enough to prepare for in advance. No one had really taught him how lonely growth could feel. No one had explained how often the right decision could also carry grief. No one had told him that being mature sometimes means disappointing people in order to stay honest with yourself. These were not lessons in books or classroom sentences. They were lessons hidden in ordinary days. That evening, Long sat at his desk while the room softened under the last golden light of day. A pale rectangle of sunlight rested on the wooden surface beside the notebook. The stillness felt almost like a friend, quiet enough for truth, warm enough for honesty. He had spent the week carrying a subtle emotional fatigue. Nothing dramatic had gone wrong, but several small things had accumulated into a question that would not leave him alone. Why does life feel so complicated in ways no one prepared me for? So he wrote exactly that. What are the things nobody really taught me about life? He let the answers come without polishing them. That outgrowing people can feel sad even when it is necessary. That not every right choice feels peaceful at first. That being kind and being available are not the same thing. That some people only understand the version of you that is easy for them. That loneliness can visit even in a full life. That healing is often less graceful than people describe it. He stopped there and looked at the page. These were not glamorous insights. They were quiet truths, gathered like small stones from the road of ordinary living. And yet, naming them made something loosen in his chest. So much of adult pain, he realized, comes not only from experience itself, but from the secret expectation that you should somehow already know how to carry it. When life becomes emotionally complex, people often assume they are failing. But perhaps they are simply meeting the lessons that only living can teach. He turned the page. Why do untaught lessons feel so lonely? Because I think I should have been more prepared. Because other people act like they understand everything. Because I rarely hear these truths spoken gently. Because hidden struggles make me question my own maturity. The room grew quieter as the sun sank lower. Long thought about how many people move through life carrying untaught lessons in silence. Learning how to let go without bitterness. Learning that boundaries can feel guilty before they feel clean. Learning that some forms of wisdom come only after disappointment has stripped away idealism. No one had handed him those truths neatly, but that did not make them less real, or less worthy of being honored. He wrote a new heading. How do I live with lessons nobody taught me? By speaking them honestly to myself. By not turning hidden difficulty into shame. By accepting that some truths can only be learned slowly. By becoming gentler with my own becoming. By allowing life to teach me without humiliating myself for not knowing sooner. That last line made him breathe more deeply. Perhaps maturity is not knowing everything in advance. Perhaps it is the willingness to stay open, soft, and honest as life teaches you what books could not. So he wrote 3 small reminders beneath the list. Not knowing sooner is not failure. Some understanding only comes through living. I can learn slowly and still become wise. The light had faded into amber now, and he turned on the small lamp beside the desk. The room seemed smaller, calmer, more intimate. He sat there for a long time with the notebook open, feeling less alone than before. Nothing in his external life had changed, but something inside him had. The confusing parts of adulthood no longer felt like proof that he was doing life badly. They felt like part of the real curriculum, the hidden one. The one nobody fully explains because it cannot be fully explained. The one each heart must meet in its own language and time. Over the following days, he kept writing down the untaught lessons as they appeared. Small truths, unexpected insights, painful wisdom made useful by attention. And gradually, the notebook became a map, not of certainty, but of companionship. A way of saying to himself, "This is hard, yes, but it is also human, and you are learning." Some of the most important lessons in life are never formally taught. They arrive through disappointment, waiting, boundary setting, loneliness, healing, and the quiet work of becoming someone more honest than before. Do not be ashamed of the truths you had to learn slowly. Do not rush yourself out of the hidden curriculum of a human life. A quiet room, a notebook, a few sentences that finally name what you have been carrying. Sometimes that is enough to soften the loneliness, because the lesson nobody taught you can still become wisdom, especially when you stop hiding it from yourself. If this reached you, comment, "Life is teaching me quietly." Subscribe for more warm, reflective life stories about hidden wisdom, healing, and soft growth.